Okay, so this is a very quick tutorial on how to research the competition on Google to see how many words are required per article in order to be competitive with an article that we are writing, so that we can assign the proper word count for an article. So what we have here, we have our content calendar. Notice that we have assigned certain things to these writers, and right here the target word count. What we need to do before we actually assign it officially to that writer, we actually need to make sure that we specify the word count that is required. So if we were to look at assisted living with dementia, for example, and we copy that, we go over to our handy dandy THRUUU, log into this Through app, and it's free. And if we were to want to scrape a certain amount of credits that it gives you and everything, you can go ahead and put this keyword here, and then it'll scrape the search engine results page. So that will do its work for a second, and it's going to tell you average word count of the articles that are at the top of Google. It'll tell you how many images, and what we want to do is we want to get these results, and we want to get a good feel of what we need to do to rank at the top of Google. So you notice here, the top 10 rankings, you have 1,600 words on average. The longest article is 2,500 words, and the shortest is 75. So one strategy might be to just say, okay, maybe 2,000 words might be competitive, because our article quality is very likely going to be the very best. It's going to have all the elements that Google's looking for, and so even if we did 1,500 or 1,600, it would be very, very competitive against this 2,600 article. But just to be a little extra competitive, I'm going to put it at 2,000.
So maybe we round up.
So we can round up a little bit.
As a general rule?
Sometimes we round up, sometimes we just say 1,600, 1,700, 1,800. I'd round up just a little bit. Not that we really care about.
Why would you not round up? In what circumstance?
It may not be absolutely necessary to round up, because the quality of our articles are just phenomenal. So even if we did 1,600 words, that should be fine. But if it's a keyword that we're like, okay, that's one that we really want, to definitely
round up.
Then we round up. This keyword here that we're going for, assisted living with dementia, that one would probably be one that we would want to round up on. So that one, it said 1,600. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2,000 in here. So 2,000 words. Now the other thing that the writer needs to know is how many images are required. So right over here is the images, and let's see the average number. So there's 8 maximum and 1 minimum. So 4 images on average. Let's just do 5. So if we did 5 here, that's still very competitive. And so that's the top 10. If we were to click on the top 3, you see, notice here the top 3 rankings here, 1,800 words on average, and 5 images on average. So yeah, the top 3 is really what we care most about, but the top 10 is also very helpful. They're pretty close. So I would say let's go off of the top 3. So click on the top 3 and then take a look and say, okay, that's 1,800, and then you just round up. Let's go to 2,000. And let's see, we have 5 images on average, 6 max, 4 minimum, so 5 is good. So we put 5. And that is how you specify the word count that's required for our article to be competitive, and the number of images that are required. And then at that point, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, what kind of information is Google looking for? Are they looking for, is this going to be more of a blog post? Is this going to be informational? Is this going to answer questions? So this is assisted living with dementia. And so the options here, this will be probably assisted living with dementia. Let's just do a blog post. But what we can do is, if we wanted to, we can take a look at some of these top rankings here. So take a look here. Let's see. Where's the best place for someone with dementia? How do you move a dementia patient into assisted living? When should a dementia patient go into care? How long does it take for a dementia patient to adjust to assisted living? These are actually really good questions. So these, I really like these questions. But if you look over here, what type of pages are these? Assisted living bridges the gap between living. So this is more informational. This is what it is.
What does this mean now?
I don't know.
Something's wrong with that.
Unable to scrape the page, I guess. Yeah, no big deal.
May no longer be there.
Yeah. Assisted living versus memory care. What's the difference? Some seniors with early middle-age dementia do well in assisted living facility, but the disease progresses, symptoms worsen. Many people with dementia and Alzheimer's live in assisted living facilities to receive specialized care and ongoing support. So it's a lot about, like, this is what it is. So that's kind of an informational, but you could do a blog post on that. Anyways,
What's different between a blog post and an article post? What's the difference to the writer?
so we have blog post or frequently asked questions. This one's going to be more of like a QA, like look for a bunch of questions and answer those. It's pretty close to what a blog post is, but a blog post could be just more comprehensive, discussing the topic and
Could
going
be more
over
storytelling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In its delivery.
Yeah. And I don't know if this really matters that much.
Okay,
Page type.
Let's not worry so much about it.
Don't worry about that. Okay. That's how we prepare for assigning to writer. And this needs to happen before we can change this to assigned to writer. Is we need to specify the target word count and the number of images.